Welcome back, students. Today we are going to discuss part 10 of Unit 3, that is Diversity of Life. Before we start the main content, I would like to inform that the images used in our slides are for education purpose only. We respect intellectual property right of original creator and owner of these images. If you are the owner of any of the images used in this PPT, have any concern, any issue, please contact us at sathi@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the images. In today's video lecture, we are mainly focusing on, we are discussing this animal kingdom, right? So in today's video lecture, we are mainly focusing on some phylum like mollusks, echinodermata, chordata and their classes like fishes, amphibia, reptiles, bird, mammalia and their highlighting characters. Okay, so let's start today's video lecture. The first phylum which today we are going to discuss is phylum Mollusca. Okay, and this is the second largest animal phylum. Second largest one. So which one is the first? First is Arthropoda. Okay, so after Arthropoda, mostly members comes under this phylum Mollusca. Okay, all the mollusks are terrestrial or aquatic in nature, and in aquatic they may be found in fresh water as well as marine water. Okay, they have organ system level of organization. They are having bilateral symmetry. Okay, they are having bilateral symmetry. Triploblastic means all three type of germ layers are there: ecto, endo and meso, and they are coelomates means they are having true coelom. Okay, and their body is covered by a calcareous shell. Okay, and this is the unique character, that their body is covered by a unique shell and is unsegmented with a distinct head, muscular foot and visceral hem. Okay, so this is the main character. Okay, and they are having a short, soft and spongy layer of skin which form mantle over the visceral hem, and there is a space between them, means there is a space between hump and mantle, and this is called mantle cavity, where actually some feather like gills are present. Okay, and so this is again a unique property of this mollusks, and they are having respiratory and excretory functions, these gills. Okay, their anterior head region has sensory tentacles. Okay, and their mouth contain a file-like respiring organ for feeding, which is called radula. Okay, this is again a main character of mollusk. These are the examples: phyla and octopus, both comes under this phylum mollusk. They are usually dioecious. Dioecious means unisexual. Unisexual means both male and female part are present in different individuals. Those are having male reproductive organ act as a male. Those are having female reproductive organ act as a female. Okay, so they are usually dioecious, or we can say unisexual, and oviparous means they lay down eggs with indirect development. With indirect development means young one is not resemble with the adult one. Okay, they through metamorphosis they gradually convert from one stage to another stage and finally come on to the final stage, that is adult one. Okay, so through metamorphosis, which is a process in which young one transform into adult. So different larval stages are there, different other stages are present in between. So development is indirect. These are the examples. Phyla, already I told you, right? Pearl ostrich. Okay, this sepia, cuttlefish, squid, devilfish or octopus. You have to remember their scientific names, okay, as well as common name. and tusk shell, chiton. So these are the examples of this. All the animals belong to this phylum. Okay. Next phylum is Echinodermata, and all those animals belong to this phylum have an endoskeleton of calcareous ossicles. That's why this phylum is known as Echinodermata. All the members belong to this particular phylum are marine in nature, okay, with organ level of organization. The adult echinoderm are radially symmetrical, while their larvas are bilateral symmetry. So two type of symmetry are present in their different life period. Okay, adult one are radial symmetry, and the larval are bilateral symmetry. Okay, this is a unique character of Echinodermata. They have two type of symmetry. They are triploblastic and coelomates. Okay, procoelom is present over here. Digestive system is complete. Okay, with mouth on the lower side, or we can say ventral side, and the anus on the dorsal side or upper side. Right? So they have complete digestive system. Okay. The most distinguished feature of this particular phylum is the presence of vascular water system. Water vascular system, which actually help them in their locomotion to capture prey and transport food, and also help in respiration. So this is again a unique character. Water vascular system. Echinoderms, all the members belong to this particular phylum have water vascular system, and this water vascular system, again I'll repeat, help in locomotion, capture the prey, transportation of the food, and in respiration as well. Okay. An excretory system is absent. They don't have a specific excretory system. Okay. Sexes are separate. Reproduction is bisexual mean. Fertilization is usually external. Mostly all the kind of animal which where they are common habitat if water, then mostly fertilization is external. So this how by this way you can analyze the type of fertilization they have. Okay, and development is indirect. Okay, means there are so many intermediate stages through metamorphosis. The young one get converted into the adult one with the free swimming larva. In this case also, as in mollusks, right? These are certain examples like starfish, sea orchid, sea lily, sea cucumber, brittle star. Already I told you, you have to learn their scientific name and their zoological name. So these are the examples of all those animals belong to this particular phylum. Next phylum is Hemichordata. Hemichordata was earlier considered as a subphylum under Chordata, but now it is placed in as a separate phylum, okay, under non-Chordata. Okay, and this phylum consists of a small group of worm-like marine animals with low organ system level of organization. Okay, they are bilateral symmetrical, triploblastic, and coelomate animals. The body is cylindrical and is composed of an exterior proboscis, collar, and a long trunk. Okay. So these kind of animals comes under Hemichordata group. Melanoglossus. This is a picture of melanoglossus. Their circulatory system is of open type. Respiration takes place through gills. Okay. Excretion via proboscis glands. Sex are separate. Fertilization is external. Development is indirect. And these are the example: melanoglossus and Saccoglossus. These two animal comes under this particular phylum, Hemichordata. Now, phylum Chordata, and this is one is very, very important. And what is the fundamental characteristic of Chordata? Presence of notochord. This is the main characteristic. Okay, presence of notochord and a dorsal hollow nerve cord also. They are also having dorsal and hollow one nerve cord and paired pharyngeal gill slits. So these important one, of course, this one, but these two characters are also very important. Means they are having notochord as well as dorsal hollow nerve cord and paired pharyngeal gill slits. They are bilateral symmetrical, okay, triploblastic in nature, coelomates with organ level of organization. They have different organs for different function. In spite of this, they are also having another very important property, that the presence of post-anal tail. They have a tail character, post-anal tail, and a closed circulatory system. Closed circulatory system. Okay, these two are again a very important character of this particular phylum. We can divide this particular phylum into three subphyla category: Urochordata, Cephalochordata, and Vertebrata. Okay, Urochordata also known as Tunicata, and these two subphyla collectively we can use the term Protochordata for them. And all the animals belong to these two groups or these two subphyla are mostly found in marine environment. So they are mostly marine. Okay, their natural habitat is mostly marine. Okay, so phylum Chordata we can further divide it into three subphyla: Urochordata, Cephalochordata, and Vertebrata. And these first two, Urochordata and Cephalochordata, collectively known as Protochordata. Clear? Okay, so Protochordata, phylum Chordata again, subphylum, and these two groups belong to this Protochordata, Urochordata and Cephalochordata. Right? So now let's compare chordata with non-chordata. So in chordata, notochord must be present. So notochord is present, right? While in non-chordata, notochord is absent. Here, central nervous system is dorsal, hollow, and single. Okay, just now we have learned about it, right? While here in non-chordata, central nervous system is CNS is ventral, not dorsal. Ventral and solid and double, just opposite of this character, second one. Okay, they are having pharyngeal gill slits, while in non-chordata gill slits are absent. These are not present, are absent. Heart is ventral in chordata, while here again heart is dorsal if present, because all the members are not having this heart. Okay. In chordata, a post-anal part, that is tail, is present. This is an important character of chordata, while here in non-chordates, tail, there is no concept of tail. So post-anal tail is absent. So this is how we can compare non-chordata with the chordata. Okay. So in chordata, in Urochordata, notochord only present in the larval stage. In larval tail. Okay, while in Cephalochordata, throughout life it is present from head to tail. Reason, okay, so this is the difference between these two. Okay, notochord is present only in the larval tail in Urochordata, while here in Cephalochordata, throughout life it is present. These are the examples. Some animals belong to this Urochordata category. As you can see, this Ascidia belong to Urochordata, Salpa, Doliodulum also belong to Urochordata, while Cephalochordata, Branchiostroma, okay, Lancet, these are the examples. Okay, you have to learn some of the name because sometime question asked on this particular thing. Now next subphylum is Vertebrata. Okay, so the member of subphylum Vertebrata possess notochord during their embryonic stage, during their embryonic period. Okay, while in the adult this notochord is replaced by cartilaginous, bony, vertebral column. Okay, So only in the embryonic stage notochord is present. As it passed through all the embryonic stages and convert into the mature one, then this will convert into cartilaginous vertebral column in adult. Okay, first property. Second, we can say that on the basis of this character that all vertebrates are chordates. Yes, but all chordates are not vertebrate. While because in their adult form, this will convert into the vertebral column, that is bony or cartilaginous. Okay, that's why. So all vertebrates are chordates, but not all chordates are vertebrates. Clear? And vertebrates have a ventral muscular heart. They are having muscular heart, ventral muscular heart with initially 2-chambered, okay, then 3-chambered, then 4-chambered. Okay, initial stages means fish on at that particular level, 2-chamber, then 3-chamber like frog, in 3 chambers are there, and 4-chamber in the mammals like this. But overall we can collectively here at this phylum level we can say they have ventral muscular heart with 2, 3 or 4 chambers. They have a specific organ for secretion, kidney. They have small special organs like appendages, or which may be as a fins or limb for their osmoregulation purpose. Okay, so these are the characteristics. We can further divide it into two divisions, agnintha and gnathostoma, which are having jaw comes under gnathostomata, while those are not having jaw comes under agnintha category. Okay, further class, one class is there, that is cyclostomata, comes under this particular category, while we can further divide this gnathostomata in two superclasses, that is species and tetrapoda. Those who are having fins comes under this species superclass, while those are having limbs comes under tetrapoda. Further, when we can classify fishes into two different classes, chondrocthyles and ostricthyles. ठीक है? And tetrapoda further classify into 4 classes: amphibia, reptiles, aves and mammals. Okay, so first class is cyclostomata. All the living members of this particular class are ectoparasite in nature, and these act as ectoparasite on some fishes. Okay, they are having elongated body, as you can see in this picture, and they bearing 6 to 15 pair of gill slits. Okay, and this, what is the function of this particular gill slits? Respiration. They are having 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits for respiration. Okay, cyclostomes have a sucking and circular mouth. Sucking and circular mouth without jaw. They are not having jaw. This is the main feature. That's why it belongs to this particular class. Okay, so cyclostomes have a sucking and circular mouth without jaw. Okay, their body is devoid of scales. There is no scales and paired fins. Cranium and vertebral column are cartilaginous. Okay, their cranium and vertebral column are cartilaginous. Circulation is closed type. Cyclostomes are marine in nature, but they migrate for spawning to fresh water. Means to lay down their egg. Lay down their egg. They have to move in fresh water. Okay, so after spawning, within few days they die, and their larva after metamorphosis return to the ocean. Okay, so this is how their life cycle goes to continue. Okay, there are some members like lamprey and hagfish belong to this particular class. Clear? Next class is chondriocthyles. They are marine animals with streamlined body and having cartilaginous endoskeleton. Okay, they are having cartilaginous endoskeleton and mostly they are marine. Okay, their mouth is located ventrically and notochord is persistent in these animals throughout their life. Okay, gill slits are separate and without operculum, means gill cover. They are not having operculum or gill cover. Their skin is tough, containing minute placoid scales. Teeth are modified placoid scales which are backwardly directed. So their teeth are modified placoid scales which are backwardly directed. Okay, these are the example of some cartilaginous fish belong to this particular class. As you can see, their jaw are very powerful. Okay, these animals are predaceous. Due to the absence of air bladder, they have to swim. They are not having air bladder, so they have to swim constantly to avoid sinking. Okay, if they want to do some kind of rest, they can't do this because they, in that particular case, because they are not having air bladder, so they can sink down in the water. So because of this reason, they have to swim constantly. Okay, their heart is two chambered. These are fishes na, so heart is two chamber, one auricle is there and one ventricle. Okay, some of them have electric organs like in torpedo. Torpedo is having electric organ, and some possess poison string like trigon. These are specific examples. You have to learn this. Sometime question may ask. Okay, they are cold-blooded. Okay, so what is the right term for all the animals having cold-blooded property? Poikilotherm. They are poikilotherms. Animals means they are not having the capacity to regulate their body temperature. They can't regulate their body temperature. They are cold-blooded. Okay. So, or we can say simply that only aves, or we can say bird and mammals, they both comes under warm-blooded category. Rest all animals comes under poikilotherm category. Okay. Here, sexes are separate. In this particular case also, males pelvic fin bear claspers. They have internal fertilization and many of them are viviparous as well. Okay, many of them are viviparous because their fertilization is internal. Very important part. Okay, so these kind of fishes like dogfish, shawfish, great white shark, stingray, they all trigon or stingray. They all belong to this particular class. Clear? Now next is osteichthyes. This particular class include both marine as well as freshwater fish. They are having bony endoskeleton, not cartilaginous, bony endoskeleton. These are the animals. Okay, their body is streamlined. Okay, mouth is mostly terminal, as you can show in this picture. They are having 4 pair of gills. How many gills? 4 pairs of gills, which are covered by a operculum or gill cover. Okay, skin is covered by cycloid scales. Okay, skin is covered by cycloid scales. Air bladder is present in this particular class, so they can rest. All the members belong to this class. They can rest. They cannot sink because they are having air bladder for air buoyancy. Okay, so the presence of air bladder provide them buoyancy, regulate their buoyancy. These are the examples of bony fish, hippocampus and cutla. Okay, both belong to this particular class. Heart, again, these are again in a type of fishes. So their heart is two-chambered, one auricle and one ventricle. Again, poikilotheriums, they are cold-blooded. Okay, their sexes are separate. Fertilization is external. They are mostly oviparous. While in previous class, mostly are viviparous, right? And development is direct. Okay, development is direct. Means there is no metamorphosis. Okay, and these are the examples like flying fish, seahorse, rohu, libio, katla, okay, magoon, fighting fish, anglefish. So these are the examples. These two examples belong to aquarium fish category. These three examples belong to freshwater category. And these two examples like flying fish and hippocampus belong to marine category. Hippocampus is also known as sea horse, right? Now next class is amphibia. Okay, amphibia can live in aquatic as well as terrestrial habitat, right? That's why it is written over here. Amphi means dual life. They are comfortable in both the type of area, means in water as well as in terrestrial, but they can move according to their need. In particular, means during fertilization time they have to, or during rainy season they have to fertilize, so they prefer aquatic habitat, right? Most of them have two pair of limbs. Most of them have two pair of limbs. Body is divided into head and trunk. Head and trunk. Okay. Tail may be present in some or maybe not present in some. Okay. The amphibian skin is moist and they don't have scales on their body. Without scale. So this is the difference between amphibia and fishes. Okay. Amphibian skin is moist in nature. Eye has an eyelid. Okay. And there is a tympanum present on the ear. Okay. And their alimentary canal, they have specific organ system like alimentary canal, urinary system, reproductive system. Okay. And all three systems open into a common chamber known as cloaca, which is open to the exterior. Okay. Respiration in amphibia done by all three methods: through gill, through lungs, and through air. Okay. So respiration is by gills, lungs, and air, skin. Heart is three-chambered, means two auricle and one ventricle. They are again cold-blooded animals. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is external. They are oviparous and development is indirect. Means there is a metamorphosis. Larva, then tadpole, then mature one. Okay. So oviparous and development is indirect. These are the animal name like toad, rana, frog, hyla, tree frog, salamandra, ichthyophus, or lymphless amphibia. These are the examples belong to this particular amphibia class. Okay. Next class is reptilia. Means creeping vertebrates. Creeping vertebrates. Okay. The class name referred their creeping and clawing mode of locomotion. Right. They are mostly terrestrial animal and their body is covered by dry and cornified skin. They are having epidermal scales on their body. Okay. They do not have external ear opening. There is no pinna, nothing. They do not have external ear opening. Tympanum represent ear in this class also. Limbs, when present, are two pairs. If present, in some animals, limbs are present. Heart is usually three-chambered, but in crocodile, this is the exception. Heart is four-chambered. Okay. Reptiles are again poikilotherms, means cold-blooded animal. They cannot regulate their body temperature. So, what kind of animal belong to this particular class? Snakes, different kind of snakes, lizard, crocodile, okay, alligators, they all belong to this particular class. And snake and lizard, they can shed down their scales as a skin cast. Their sexes are separate, fertilization is internal, they are oviparous, and development is direct. These are the examples like turtle, tortoise, garden lizard, alligator, viper, wall lizard, crocodile, tree lizard, okay, cobra, NASA, this is the scientific name. Again, I'll repeat, you have to learn their scientific name as well. Okay, these are the examples of the animal belong to this particular class. Okay, these are some pictures of some reptiles. Okay. Now let's discuss difference between amphibia and reptile class on the basis of their some important character. Like skin type in amphibia, skin is smooth and moist, while in reptiles, skin is non-granular and this one is dry in nature. Scales is present only in reptiles. These are absent in amphibia. Fertilization is external because these are also present in the water, right? So fertilization is external, while in reptiles, fertilization is internal. Clear? Now next class is aves, in which all the birds belong to this particular class, aves. So birds are feathered and birds are warm-blooded, means they are able to maintain a constant body temperature. They can regulate their body temperature, and this is the peculiar character belong to bird and mammals. Okay, their forelimb are modified into the wings, right? And most of them can fly, but there are some flightlet birds also, like ostrich. Their hind limb are adapted for perching, walking, or swimming. Okay, they cannot fly, but their hind limb are adapted for perching, walking, or swimming. Heart is four-chambered. Till reptile, heart is three-chambered, but in crocodile, four-chambered. But right now onwards, from class aves onwards, heart is four-chambered. Okay. And their body is covered with feathers. Jaw is modified into the beak or toothless. They don't have teeth, right? Endoskeleton, again this is important point. Endoskeleton is fully ossified, means bony and long bone. Their long bones are hollow with air cavity, which help them to in flying, right? So endoskeleton is fully ossified and long bones are hollow with air cavity or pneumatic. Regarding digestive tract of birds has additional chambers, the crop and gizzard. Heart is completely four-chambered. They are warm-blooded. Homeothermous is the right term for all the animals who can regulate their body temperature, means aves and mammals. So they are homeothermous animals. They are able to maintain their constant body temperature. Respiration via lungs only. Air sacs are connected to lungs. Supplement respiration. Sacs are separate. Fertilization is internal. They are oviparous and development is direct. All the bird like crow, pigeon, parrot, penguin, peacock, ostrich, vultures, they all belong to class aves. These are some pictures of aves class. Some members belong to this particular class. Okay. Scientific name of this more is pavo. Okay. And these are other birds. Now let's discuss the highest level of categorization, or we can say class Mammalia. And what is their unique feature? Presence of mammary gland. Okay. So mammals are the most advanced group of animal with a very well developed brain. Very well developed brain. Okay. So this is the advanced group of animal. All the animals belong to this Mammalia class they are having highly developed brain. The most unique property of this class is the presence of milk producing glands, that is mammary gland, by which young ones are nourished. Okay, by which young ones are nourished. Skin of mammals is unique because their skin is having hairs. Their skin is having sweat gland and oil glands as well. So they are having different kind of skin. And another important property is they are having external ears or ear pinna. Okay, so how can we distinguish which kind of animal is having external ear or not? All those animals belong to class Mammalia. They are only having this property, external ear property. Okay, other remaining are not having this property. So they are having ear pinna, external ear or pinna present. Different type of teeth are also present in their jaw. This is again a very important property they are having. So what are the unique properties? They are having mammary glands. Their skin is unique. Their skin is possessing hair, sweat gland and oil glands. They are having external ear. They are having different type of teeth present in their jaw. Heart is four-chambered. Yes. They are homeothermous, means they are warm-blooded. Respiration by lungs. Sexes are separate and fertilization is internal. They are viviparous. But there are few exceptions as well. Okay, like Echidna, Platypus. These two, Platypus and Echidna, they lay down egg, means they are oviparous animals. Okay, kangaroo is another example. Actually, kangaroo is a viviparous type of animal, but it gives rise to a very poorly developed young one. Remaining development of the young one occur within their pouch only. Right? So this is how we can say this one is different. So few exceptions, you have to learn these two names. Oviparous means Platypus, and remaining comes under viviparous category like kangaroo, flying fox, monkey, rat, dog, cat, horse, tiger, lion, Panthera leo, Panthera tigris, equus. Okay, so these are the examples belong to this particular class. Okay, these are some pictures. Now let's compare aves and mammal. On the basis of their character, right? So presence of wings. First character is wing. So in aves, forelimbs are modified into the wings, while wings are absent. But there is some exception, that is bat. Okay, feathers. Feathers is present in the aves, all the members of aves, and their body is covered with the feather and scales, while this one is not present in mammals. Okay, third is skin type. So in aves, skin is dry. There is no sweat gland present on their skin, while in mammals, sweat gland is there, oil gland is there, in fact, tiny hairs is there. Okay, mammary glands, this is a unique feature present only in mammals, female mammals, right? Present these mammary gland is present in female for feeding the young one, while it is absent in aves. Clear? Next is beak. Toothless beak is present in aves. There is no tooth, while beak, beak is not present in the mammal. Bones. In aves, bones are hollow. Okay, bones are hollow, while they are not possess air cavity. Bone is there, but hollow bones are not there. Their bones are not possess air cavity, right? Reproduction is oviparous. They lay down egg. In all the mammals belong to aves, while these mammals are viviparous. They will give rise to the birth of the new young one directly. Okay. Okay, so these are the final slide of this today's lecture. Let's compare the silent feature of different phyla belong to the animal kingdom. Okay, so first phyla is Porifera. And level of organization in Porifera, this is the only phyla is having cellular level of organization. Okay, by remaining two, Coelenterata and Ctenophora, both of them are having tissue level of organization. Now onwards, Platyhelminthes, Eschyhelminthes, Annelida, Orthopoda and till Chordata, they all are having organ system level of organization. Now compare the symmetry type. So in Porifera, various symmetry, they are asymmetric in nature. Okay, while in Coelenterata and Ctenophora, they are having radial symmetry, and radial symmetry is also present in Echinodermata. Okay, mature one. Okay, in mature member belong to this at their larger larval stage asymmetric, right? Bilateral symmetry. Oh, sorry. And remaining all other are having bilateral symmetry. Now let's discuss their coelom type. So Porifera, Coelenterata, Ctenophora, Platyhelminthes, they are not having coelom. So coelom is absent. While in Eschyhelminthes, we can say it is having pseudocoelom. Eschyhelminthes pseudocoelom. Remaining from Annelida to Chordata, they are having true coelom, so coelomates. About segmentation, segmentation is present in Annelida. Segmentation is present in Annelida. Segmentation is present in Arthropoda. Okay, and segmentation is also present in Chordata. All remaining members, there are no segmentation. About digestive system is 100% absent in Porifera. Okay, remaining three like Coelenterata, Ctenophora, Platyhelminthes, all three are having incomplete digestive system. While Eschyhelminthes onwards, they are having complete digestive system. Okay, from where pseudocoelom has been developed, from pseudocoelom to coelomates, all are having complete digestive system. Regarding circulatory system is present in Annelida, Arthropoda. Annelida onwards, if we can say all the members belong to Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata and Chordata. While this is not present in the upper one, means Porifera, Coelenterata, Ctenophora and Platyhelminthes. Regarding respiratory system is present from Arthropoda only. Arthropoda onwards. From Orthopoda onwards. Remaining upper one, there are no separate respiratory system. Okay, what is the distinctive feature of Porifera? Distinctive feature is their body is having so many pores. There are so many pores is present on their body and canal in walls. What is the specific feature of Coelenterata? They are having cnidoblasts. Ctenophora, they are having comb plate for locomotion. This is the main feature. What is the main feature of Platyhelminthes? They are having flat body. They are having suckers. Aschelminthes, they are having round body or worn body, elongated. What is the main feature of Annelida? Their body is segmented, ring-like structure. What is the main feature of Arthropoda? They are having exoskeleton, chitinous cuticles, okay, and jointed aperture. This is the main distinguishing feature of Arthropoda. What is the main feature of Mollusca? Their external skeleton of shell is usually present. Main feature of Echinodermata, water vascular system and radial symmetry. Okay, water vascular system and radial symmetry. Okay, about Hemichordata, worn like with proboscis, collar and trunk. Their body is divided into these three parts. In Chordata, the presence of notochord, presence of dorsal hollow nervous system, nerve cord, gill slits with limb and fins. This is the main distinguished feature of phylum Chordata. Okay, so this is all about of today's lecture. Now we have completed this animal kingdom and all the respective classes. If you are having any doubt, any confusion related to today's video lecture, you can write down to me in the comment box. We will discuss it later on. Till then, take care, bye bye, and keep learning. Namaskar.